Hello everyone, this is David from Automotive Press. It's been an amazing and exciting few days because of the leaked photos of the 2022 Toyota Tundra. All of us are enjoying these leaked photos because they finally tell us what the design looked like for a non-TRD Pro version of the Toyota Tundra. And I have been talking about these trucks for the last couple of days, but more and more questions are coming through the comment section in the videos I've posted recently. So I wanted to address some of those questions. And also, I wanted to show some of the details that maybe weren't pointed out before in my previous videos. So hang on tight as I go through a few more clarification and some more insights that I'm going to share with you about the 2022 Toyota Tundra. First of all, if you haven't yet seen the video I've created just a couple of days ago about the 2022 Toyota Tundra leaked photos, please take a look at them first because I go through a fair amount of details there. Then come back here where I can point out a few additional details that were not pointed out in the previous video. So let me walk you through a few things. First of all, a number of people have said they do not believe this to be the limited model of the Tundra because there aren't enough chrome, and also it doesn't look upscale enough. Now at first I was thinking, okay, that is kind of interesting because typically the limited model has more chrome and they do look more upscale than the photo that we are seeing right here. But if you look again very closely at the emblem on the C-pillar, you can tell that the shape and the size and the location of the emblem is clearly for the limited model. Usually the Platinum model has a different logo or emblem. It's larger and is toward the front of the truck. And the SR5 logo or emblem again is much smaller and a different shape. So even though I agree that this 2022 Tundra Limited model doesn't look as upscale as a 2021 version, I do believe that this photo that we're looking at right now is still the limited model of the 2022 Tundra. So we have not seen the Platinum or SR5 or the TRD Off-Road. I believe the TRD Sport is gone for 2022. So those are things that we still don't know much about. And so to this date, we have only seen the TRD Pro version, which is released by Toyota, and now this one, which is a limited version of the 2022 Tundra. I think the reason why it doesn't quite look as upscale and there are less chrome in this particular photo is because they are probably moving toward more of a simpler design and to avoid too much chrome, which is probably reserved for the Platinum version, which is the flagship model of the Tundra. So I think that's the reason why. Second thing I wanted to point out is the roll-down window, the power roll-down windows in the back of the truck. This is one of the most sought-after feature going from 21 to 22 Tundra because everybody wants to have a roll-down window in the rear of the truck. The reason why you are seeing in one case a small square window at the back of the truck versus the whole window that might roll down is because there's a difference between the double cab and the Crew Max versions. In a double cab, you do not get the full window rolling down in the back, just the standard smaller square-ish window that slides this way. And that is typical of what the trucks are. And that is actually same as right now, the 2021 models. We do not have the roll-down window on the double cab model. So it's not a change there. It's the same thing previously, and it's the same thing carried over to 2022. But on the Crew Max model, which is a full-size four-door version of the truck, the entire rear window does roll down using a power mechanism, much like we have right now in 2021. So that's the difference between the double cab and the Crew Max features in terms of rear window. Some people also asked why there are more chrome in the Crew Max version of the Tundra. You can see the chrome going from the window sill all the way through the C-pillar versus the double cab, which is missing the chrome around the windows. I think it's just a design difference. There has always been some design difference between the double cab and Crew Max, and because Crew Max costs more, I think Toyota decided to put a little bit more chrome on it to make it feel more upscale. I don't think the chrome is due to some kind of premium package or some kind of chrome package. I think it is simply a marketing difference between a double cab and the more expensive Crew Max. So hopefully that answers that question. Another common question being asked is the difference in height at the rear of the truck between the Crew Max and the double cab. You can clearly see in the photo that the Crew Max version seems to sit higher with more suspension height difference compared to the double cab, which seems to sit a little bit lower. Now, if you look very carefully, it's not due to suspension difference. I know people were saying that maybe the Crew Max has the air suspension, which is optional now, and maybe the double cab has a regular coil spring. I don't think that's the case, because if you look carefully, the ground is not even. And you can tell by the angle of the truck bed between the two trucks that the Crew Max version is actually sitting a little bit at an angle, and that's why the left side seems lifted than the right side, or more specifically, the driver's side seems a little bit more lifted than the passenger side. It's not due to suspension difference, it is due to the fact that the surface of the ground on which the truck is sitting have irregular surfaces, and therefore is sitting at an angle for the Crew Max version compared to the double cab version, which is sitting flat. So I think that's the real reason why the two trucks appears to have a different height and a different spacing between the wheels and the wheel well. So hopefully that answers that question. Another interesting point is the width of the truck. If you go back and take a look at the TRD Pro version of the Tundra, the photo which was released by Toyota, we all know that it has the 3 marker lights in the front and also marker light on the fender, and there will be marker lights in the back. And that's due to the fact that the TRD Pro version is wider than 80 inches, and by regulation they have to put these marker lights to indicate that they are wider than normal trucks. But on all of the other Tundra models, such as the limited model we're seeing here, it is less than 80 inches, most likely 79.9. So there actually aren't that much difference between the TRD Pro and the non-TRD Pro. It's probably just honestly 0.1 or 0.2 inches, but nevertheless there is some difference in the width. So you can tell by the fender design. If you look at the TRD Pro carefully, the fenders, both front and back, bulges out a little bit, coming straight from the headlight all the way through the front wheel wells, and it stops again, and then at the rear there's another bump or another fender that sticks out a bit. Compared to the limited model we're seeing here, which has kind of flat side, in fact the creases seems to be indented in as opposed to sticking out of the truck body. So that's a very interesting difference that maybe you didn't notice unless you compare the TRD Pro photo to the limited photo side by side. But I've noticed it, and it's an interesting design theme and difference between the TRD Pro and the limited model. By the way, I am still not crazy about the way the bumpers look, at least in the rear of these limited models, because you've got body color matching end caps, and then there's chrome, and then there's black. So there's 3 different colors. So I think they kind of look unfinished, but I think part of the reason why is to reduce the cost of repairing the bumpers if you get hit by the corner or the rear or the side, because you can replace each of the sections separately to avoid replacing the whole bumper. So there is a functional reason behind the fact that there are 3 different pieces, or potentially 4 different pieces to the rear of the bumper. But it does look a little bit out of balance, and I wish that Toyota didn't do it that way. But perhaps in the Platinum or the other models, the bumpers are same color, or maybe it's all chrome, and it might look more uniform. So we will find out shortly when all of the trim models are introduced sometime in a week or week and a half. Now, we did notice that there is no step built into the rear bumper that will allow you to step onto the bumper and then jump into the truck bed, which you see in GMC or Chevrolet trucks, for example. So I'm going to have to assume that there are some other ways to climb into the pickup bed. So likely the tailgate, when you open it and then fold it down, there will be some kind of a step system that will then come down further, allowing you to step into the truck bed. And so those are some details we don't know yet, but the rear tailgate does look more complex than your normal tailgate. It's likely a multifunctional tailgate with a built-in system that allows you to step into the truck bed. So that's another interesting thing that we have yet to find out for sure. So those are additional things I've noticed about the exterior of the Tundra. I wanted to address these first because they are the most commonly asked questions in the previous video. And then what I'm going to do is then I'm going to gather more comments and questions about the interior and create another video to answer those questions. There's just so much stuff to process, so much things to share with you about the Tundra that this could keep on going for a couple more days. But please don't worry too much because it's only about a week or week and a half away before we think Toyota will release full information on the 2022 Toyota Tundra, including all of the trim models and all of the details. So those are going to be some exciting days coming ahead. It's not too far away, so we just have to stay patient. And until then, I'll continue to share with you as much as I can so you can enjoy everything to do with 2022 Tundra, and we can look forward to the day when we finally get to drive this truck. It's going to be an exciting days ahead. Thank you so much for watching.